The ceasefire in the Middle East has been shaky, with Israel killing over 100 people since President Trump declared that major hostilities were over. I've always been confused by this phrase, fragile peace. I'd have thought the Gaza war would be twice as easy to solve as most wars, since only one side really has any weapons.
It all ended, in theory, last month because the West realised that Israel had gone too far. First, by causing several hundred deaths through starvation, which is not as sporting as shooting them in the back, and secondly by bombing negotiators in Doha. Unfortunately, Netanyahu only seems to understand these parameters when it suits him. Israel these days is like an edgy stand-up comedian berating his fickle Western audience. Ah, so you like the exploding pages, but you don't like the starving kids. Okay, bunch of fucking hypocrites. And Israel would be right. Meanwhile, back on these soggy isles, the British police managed to set free one of Britain's most notorious prisoners, the migrant who sexually assaulted a 14-year-old while staying in a taxpayer-funded hotel. Our country was collectively shocked that something so utterly ludicrous could happen and seemed set to force the firing of everyone involved, only to discover that accidental releases have now jumped to about 260 each year. In typically British style, we collectively sort of said, oh well, as you were. In other news, the royal revelations have gotten so bad that Jeffrey Epstein's ghost has reportedly distanced itself from Prince Andrew. I have my reservations about the royal family, as an institution, but I like the people. I mean, it'd be constructive to vote in some boring president and agonise over constitutional reform. But let's face it, you'd miss old sausage fingers and old fishy fingers. What other head of state would say he wants to be reincarnated as his side chick's tampon? Which other gaggle of hilarious maladroit characters would find themselves under such widespread suspicion for cutting an ex's brake pads? Who else would we find to go to a fancy dress party as a Nazi and then proceed to blather utterly counterproductive horse shit as a campaigner for anti-racism? No, not for me, a boring, sensible president, a retired centrist politician like John Major. Even if we have to get rid of all their palaces and things, let's keep this bunch of gormless legends on my banknotes and in the news.